The opposition has raised serious concerns over the government's deal with Global Ports Holding G.P.H, criticizing the lack of a tendering process and questioning the transparency of the agreement. They argue that the sharp increase in the head tax from $6.50 to $12, with G.P.H receiving the lion's share, was not properly disclosed to the public. Labeling the agreement as heavily one-sided, they claimed the government has committed to a $440 million payout over 40 years in exchange for just $40 million of investment, accusing the administration of enabling excessive investor returns while pleading financial constraints.
What makes this deal more egregious is that there was no tendering. And then to find out not by the government saying so, but having to find out through a press statement that the head tax, which was at $6.50 forever, had now been increased to $12. And that G.P.H was going to get 10. So you knew that you were going to increase the head tax. So imagine what SLASPA could have done with that. So you've given them over $440 million over the next 40 years.
Prime Minister Pierre defended the G.P.H agreement, noting that negotiations were initiated under the opposition leader's own administration. He recalled a tense negotiation session in which a government minister from his cabinet firmly challenged G.P.H representatives over previously agreed terms and dismissed claims of secret meetings as baseless and frivolous.
I saw these guys agitated. You know why? They were talking about the G.P.H agreement, and the minister was pushing for something, and the promoter was pushing back against it. And he was saying, that happening unless you do X and Y. That is how we negotiate stuff. That's how we negotiated with G.P.H. That's how pushing back on things that they had agreed to. They had agreed to. Then I heard one of them saying, Emma had a secret meeting. We know all these frivolous nonsense.
Austinay also questioned why the government or SLASPA could not undertake relatively straightforward infrastructure projects such as building a vendor's arcade or upgrading the Bunance area without involving a foreign investor.
When we hear about a vendor's arcade, we ask ourselves, what is it? The government of Saint Lucian, the people of Saint Lucia could not build a vendor's arcade? SLASPA couldn't do that? SLASPA couldn't fix up the Bunance area? It was the Saint Lucia Soufriere Development Foundation that built the dock in Soufriere.
In response, Prime Minister Pierre highlighted strong regional endorsements for Global Ports Holding, noting that Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Brown credited G.P.H with revitalizing their cruise sector, while Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis reported a 1 million passenger increase following G.P.H's involvement. He questioned why, despite such regional success stories, St. Lucia's opposition continues to reject the deal, especially given what he described as their own lack of tangible development accomplishments.
He said to me, G.P.H has transformed the cruise industry in Antigua. Philip Davis asked me at the CARICOM meeting in Barbados earlier this year, how is G.P.H going in St. Lucia? And Philip says, the Bahamas, Philip Davis, G.P.H increased his, and he's just next to Miami, increased his flow of cruise by a million. But for St. Lucia, it's bad because the genius who didn't build one hotel, not one hotel, says that G.P.H is bad. And it comes with agreements for all Caribbean things. But so, Mr. Speaker, we have to get serious about things in this country.
Thus, the Prime Minister urged a shift away from political posturing towards more serious, constructive national dialogue. For Choice News Now, I am Chelsea Austinay.